What is going on, guys? Welcome into the sit down right here on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and also on the Roku app for the Northeast Streaming Sports Network. And I have a little small video to play. If you guys haven't already checked them out on ROKUTV, you can watch us live on your Roku right now for the Northeast Streaming Sports Network. Let's play that video real fast to give them a little advertisement.
This is Northeast Streaming Sports.
You're live here with the Sauce God and 12 Gauge filling in for Stacks, who actually had a little bit of a personal incident, so I will not say exactly what happened, but prayers up for Mike, and we wish him nothing but the best thoughts and vibes. So, guys, if you wouldn't mind doing me a favor, you're now live here with the Sauce God and 12 Gauge in the sit-down, presented by www.buffalosaucegod.com and presented by Duff's Famous Wings. Hit that like button, hit that share button. Join us here in the comment section as well, and feel free to call into that hotline at 716-800-1772. You guys can discuss the Bills on anything NFL related with myself and 12 Gauge. The hotline is open, and you can see that number on the ticker down below, where you can also see my social medias at Buffalo Sauce God and on Facebook at Anthony Bomasudo, where I have my lives on Mondays and Thursdays for the sit down at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and also on that Roku TV app for Northeast Streaming Sports, and also live on Saturdays at 12 p.m. Eastern right here with Sauce God and normally Stacks, but we got 12 Gauge filling in. But Gauge, how you feeling on this wonderful Saturday afternoon?
Oh, I'm feeling pretty good on this wonderful Western New York Saturday. How about yourself, Sauce?
Yeah, I mean, we got some college action on today, Gauge. You know, there's a lot of stuff to keep us occupied. There's NBA action on, there's hockey on as well. For me, it's like, it's weird because obviously in this situation, the Bills are going into the bye week. It's week 13, so we have to kind of watch some of the other action. I mean, the Bills are coming off of a very tough loss against the Philadelphia Eagles, which we're going to talk about here in just a few moments as well. But we're going to talk about everything with the Buffalo Bills currently, with Von Miller's situation, the current outlook for the Bills for the remainder of the schedule, because we do still have some tough games, but we are sitting at 6-6. So how do we feel looking forward, Bills Mafia? Well, we're going to find out all that and much more right here in the sit-down with all of our usual segments, so don't go anywhere. Hit that like and share. Join us here in the comment section. And let's go ahead. Let's play that introduction video, and let's get the sit-down kicked off.
Let's get this over with. 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's simple, baby. Buffalo Bills football is heck, all right? Let me tell you something.
I'm gonna crack a cold one because it's the tailgate.
Ooh, ice cold, Mike. Let me tell you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are live here in the sit down with Sauce God, the sports and entertainment show.
I'm whipping the sauce, I'm tripping, of course, I want it all. All of my dogs be running with guard. Your mama, you holding your pennies and bra. Cause when I get whipping the sauce, you taking it off. I'm dancing on tracks like stomping the yard. We keeping it quiet, we moving the signs, but now we starting to riot. Yeah, keeping my eye on the prize. I got me a queen, we riding like Bonnie and Clyde. Trips to Dubai, the way I be blessing, I'm destined for changing my decimals. Decibels hitting the wave, I'm rapping incredible, splitting their head like a cantaloupe edible. Got me so high, I'm touching the sky. Of course, I give it my all. I'm whipping the sauce, kicking the door. But then we been here before. She ain't involved, well she ain't involved. Taking my shot, even the down, we tying the score. Do your dancing on twist, don't stress, don't trip. Whipping sauce real quick, stay dripping, sipping on cognac, roll tea in my veins, but you find that I'm whipping it, watch it get saucy.
How you doing it?
I'm twisting and mixing them, shaking them haters right off me.
What you doing?
Welcome into the sit-down right here, presented by www.buffalosaucegod.com and presented by Duff's Famous Wings, the best damn chicken wings that are out there. Hosted by myself, the Sauce God, every week, Mondays and Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and on Saturdays at noon Eastern Standard Time. And now joined here are my co-host, Mr. 12 Gauge, the producer of the show as well. I want to give him a quick shout-out for manning the boards and also highlighting your guys' comments, which feel free to comment and join us here in the comment section. If you're watching on the Roku app, you can join me on my Facebook at Anthony Bomasudo or on YouTube at Buffalo Sauce God. Make sure to check out all the social media platforms at Buffalo Sauce God to make sure you never miss any of the daily entertainment or sports entertainment or Bills Mafia content coming from myself, the Sauce God, your source for all that and much more. And like I said, ladies and gents, feel free to call into that hotline at 716-800-1772 to discuss anything Bills related, NFL related, or anything sports related, but nothing hateful, please, ladies and gents. So now let's go into our Bills-Eagles reaction. I mean, dude, this was a game, Gage, that we talked about. We went live at halftime, and we were fired up. We felt like this is the way that we have to win this game. We have to get out in front, we have to maintain, and we have to kind of dictate the way that the game was going. And that's what we did in the first half. Second half, we saw not necessarily a decline in the Bills' play, but we saw the Eagles come to life and why the Eagles are such a great football team. That's why they only have one loss. And they played some difficult teams. In fact, the Eagles just got through their gauntlet of the schedule, which everybody predicted them to lose a lot of those games, but they came out undefeated. Their only loss coming this season to the Jets, which you're thinking it's the Jets, right? But hey, it's the NFL. Anything is possible any given Sunday. But the Eagles came alive in the second half. Jalen Hurts settled in. He found ways to make plays with his legs. He found ways to make throws. Devontae Smith got it going. A.J. Brown never seemed to really get it going. But the Bills' defense, I thought, did a really great job for the most part. I just think that, sure, we got screwed with officiating. We all know that. We are also aware that we don't have a fully healthy team. But this is still a team that I saw some good things from. So right away, I want to know what your guys' reaction to the Buffalo Bills and Eagles matchup was. I mean, I know my Philadelphia fan friends were loving exactly what they saw. And hey, I think that game was better and much more closer than some people anticipated, Gage. I think a lot of people expected the Eagles to kind of stomp on the Bills for the way that they had been playing as of recently. But we all know that this was the second week under Joe Brady. I liked what I saw from our offense. I think that there were times that we left a little bit on the field. We had a couple of opportunities where we could have maybe gotten 7, and we missed some field goals too. That was essential. We all know what happened with James Cook and dropping the pass, and we all know with Gabe Davis at the end of the game. Those things happen, but still, you were in position to win that football game regardless of those mistakes against the best team in football, in my opinion. Well, there's some good things to take away. Yeah, the Bills fell to 6-6, and I understand that that's an issue with some, and some people think that the season is not, it's over, but you still have 5 games remaining, and I understand the Chiefs is one of them. Miami is another one of them, and the Cowboys are one of them too. And those are 3 teams that are playing some of the best football right now. But are they games that you can't win? No. They're games that the Bills can win every single one of those games. The Bills beat the Dallas Cowboys in 2019 when Josh Allen had John Brown and Cole Beasley and didn't have anywhere near the type of elite development that we have seen from him to where he is now, right? We've seen the Bills play against the Chiefs in the last few years, and we beat them in the regular season last year and the year before that. Sure, we might have lost them in the playoffs, and we all know how that went with 13 seconds, but I'm just saying the Bills have some experience against this team to where they could probably find a way to win. Miami is a divisional opponent. That's a game that you can always win because of the fact that you're in the same division, and you have a good success against Miami in your recent history. So I look at that as a possible win. You have the you don't have the Jets anymore, but you have the Patriots. Sure. I'm just saying, these are some winnable games for the Buffalo Bills, and there's no reason to hang our heads. The Bills played a really good game against the Eagles, and I think that they played much better in a sense than I expected them to, because I think the Eagles have a great defense, a great offense. I think that they're maybe the most complete team in football. But ain't it funny, though? We saw some good things from the Bills. Like Gabe Davis and Josh Allen might have had that miscommunication at the end, but Gabe Davis was a monster all game, blocking in the run game and also catching the football. Gabe Davis can come alive whenever we target him and whenever he's catching the ball and he's not dropping it. And I understand that he's had drops this season, but we've all had drops this season, including Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs had some crucial drops, too, during that game. So Stephon Diggs, as of late, hasn't necessarily shown me his most elite play, but the other guys around him are stepping up. Khalil Shakir, Dalton Kincaid, Gabe Davis, James Cook. We're seeing the emergence of these guys. Ty Johnson even, right? And it makes you wonder, when is Leonard Fournette going to get his turn to finally make his stamp on the offense as well, right? But if you guys are just now tuning in, don't forget to hit that like and share. You're live here in the Sit Down with Sauce God and 12 Gauge filling in for Stacks this week. Hit that like and share for me. Join me here in the comments, or feel free to call into that hotline at 716-800-1772. Again, that's 716-800-1772. We're discussing the Bills and Eagles right now. And yeah, it was a tough loss. You don't want to lose that way. And the Eagles made a long field goal at the end there to force it into overtime. The Eagles did their job. The Eagles are a great team. So I think anybody, seeing a loss from the Bills, you're discrediting how good the Eagles are. The Bills still put themselves in a position to win this game. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying here. They score 3 in overtime. You'd like for them to get 6 there, but if the defense does its job and makes the final stop there, then we're talking about a different scenario here. Some things I want to highlight from this game right away. Josh Allen played a great game, in my opinion. He had the 1 interception, but he went 29 for 51. and he had 339 yards passing, and he also was elite in the running game, something that we've needed to see out of Josh Allen, and I think that's something that we've been waiting to see out of Josh Allen. He had 9 carries for 81 yards. He led the team in rushing with 2 touchdowns on the ground, so 4 total touchdowns, adding to his total on the season. He only took 1 sack. Overall, he had a great quarterback rating, 83.2. His passer rating was 82.1. So Josh Allen is still playing good. Anybody that put the loss on him, that's just foolish. James Cook, you'd like to see more production. You know, he had the 16 carries for 43 yards. I think he kind of got it going a little bit there in the second half. But you'd like to see him find a way to establish the run game a little bit differently. Latavius Murray, I think the Bills' running game could have been a little bit better, but Josh Allen obviously led the way and it made it look to the point where they obviously had a great running game. And so it kind of negates all that. But Gabe Davis, 6 catches, 105 yards and a touchdown. Stephon Diggs did have a touchdown, 6 catches for 74 yards, but he had 11 targets and only 6 catches. James Cook, 6 catches for 57 yards out of the backfield. That just shows even more that when I'm telling the Bills that what they need to do week to week, it seems like it works. Get James Cook more involved, not just in the running game, but in the passing game as well. And you saw him get it there. Khalil Shakir, 3 catches for 47 yards, one of them being 31. So, I mean, overall, I saw a great game from the offense. I think when you put up 34 points, that should hopefully be enough to beat any team, no matter how good they are. But the Bills' defense obviously did have some woes, and we still are, suffering from the loss of Matt Milano. We don't have Von Miller at 100%. And we also have to talk about the Von Miller situation here just ahead as well here on the sit-down with much more. We're going to talk about everything the Bills have got going on in the bye week as well, and a lot more here in all of our segments here. So don't go anywhere. Hit that like and share. Join us here in the comments. You're here in the sit-down presented by www.buffalosaucegod.com and presented by Duff's Famous Wings with Sauce God and 12 Gauge right now. So keep those comments flowing, ladies and gentlemen. So how do I feel after falling to 6-6 Gauge? This is a question that you asked me before the show. I don't feel like the season's over. I just don't. I understand that a lot of people do. It's not exactly the easiest climb to get into the playoffs at this point. You'd like to get there with 5 more wins and no losses at all, so you put yourself at 11-6, and maybe you still even win the division. Who knows? But I mean, even 4 wins could still put you in the playoffs. And at the end of the day, ladies and gents, we want to win the AFC East, but getting into the playoffs should be all that matter for us. Because if we get in the playoffs, we can make a run. Anybody can make a run. I always bring up the New Jersey Giants in 07, wildcard team, 9-7. They beat the best team in football possibly ever in the Super Bowl, the game that mattered the most. Because why? They got to the playoffs. They made the best of their opportunities from that point on. And this is a Bills team that I think is getting hot. With the way we played against the Jets, one of the best defenses in football, 32 points. The way that we played against the Eagles, I just overall think the Bills are trending upwards. I think the move with Joe Brady as their offensive coordinator was the best thing that they could have done. We're finding out that there's guys other than Stephon Diggs that are going to be able to make plays for us, and that we need to be able to use them more. And we have guys on defense that can make plays as well. Yeah, sure, I'd like for the officiating to be a little bit better, but there are some things that go in the favor of us as well. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't want to bitch too much about officiating, but it was awful, and it definitely did play a factor in some of that as well. And it's funny to see the Philadelphia fans that are justifying the horse collar that wasn't called, trying to, read it by the rules and this and that, but that's all nonsense. But overall, I feel okay. I don't feel great. I don't feel like, all right, there's no weight on my shoulders. I definitely feel that there's a weight and there's a pressure there. And I'm sure that the Buffalo Bills feel it too when you have to play Kansas City and Dallas and Miami still. But I'm just saying, these are winnable games. These are guys that I think that we could still match up with just fine. I understand the Cowboys are playing great, but even the Cowboys had a tough go with the Seahawks, and the Seahawks are kind of, middle of the pack right now as well. I'm just saying, it just takes 1 week at a time, one drive at a time, and executing your game plan and understanding you can't shoot yourself in the foot. And the Bills did shoot themselves in the foot with James Cook dropping the possible touchdown pass. Gabe Davis and Josh Allen's miscommunication. Tyler Bass with the missed field goals. I'm just saying, the Bills really beat themselves out there. The referees did too, but the Eagles are a great team, so let's give them credit where it's due, and let's accept the fact that we are 6-6 going into the bye week, a chance to get healthy, a chance to get all of our issues resolved, and try to get ourselves with a solid game plan going forward and have our identity going forward. And what's our mantra going to be? What is it going to be? And I think that we saw a lot of that against the Eagles. Josh Allen attacking in the run game. We see that it's exactly what makes him such a great quarterback. And we've all known that, right? But I think that Ken Dorsey put the lid on him a little bit. Now we're seeing the lid come off. So that's good. I like what I'm seeing out of Gabe Davis. 6 catches, 105 yards, a touchdown. I like the way that he's played in the last couple of weeks, even though he didn't have a single target against the Jets. Joe Brady credited him as the guy, the player of the week. They gave him the game ball because of the way that he blocked and the way that he executed his role in the game plan. I'm just saying, there's a lot of guys on this Bills squad that can win. And we're seeing it week after week. We just have to put it all together, and we just have to have it all finish with the correct score at the end of the game. That's all that matters. So it's 6-6. I'm not exactly thrilled, but the season's not over. And for anybody else to say that the season's over, that's just nonsense, man. You got to have nothing but positivity. You got to be looking on the upside here. And there's a lot of good things to take away. We played against the Eagles, best team in football. I think probably the best. Obviously, they lost to the Jets, but I think we played the Eagles best that anybody else has this year, and that includes the Kansas City Chiefs, who beat them in the Super Bowl last year. So we're going to go into our first segment here, ladies and gentlemen. But before I do that, hit that like and share. Join us here in the comments. Feel free to come on to the hotline at 716-800-1772. We're live here on Facebook Live, YouTube Live at Buffalo Sauce God, and on the Roku TV app, the Northeast Streaming Sports Network, where you can catch all sorts of great sports content, not just for myself, but guys like Jim Jeffcoat, former Super Bowl champion and former player with the Buffalo Bills, Byron Williams, former receiver of the NFL as well, and much more, guys. So don't go anywhere. Hit that like and share. Stay tuned with us. And let's go into our first segment here, Gage, of Bada Bing, Bada Boom, the good things from the Eagles.
This is the Army where you shoot them a mile away. You got to get up close like this. Bada bing! Bada bing!
And here's one right here. Josh had 9 carries for 81 yards, FYI. That's one of the good things that I saw from the Buffalo Bills this week. And real fast, we got a comment coming from Mr. Timmy Taylor, the Mr. Over, I ride the over and player props Taylor over there in the chat as well, saying Mikey. But overall, the things that I saw good from the Bills was Gabe Davis's performance. I know at the end, it kind of negates a little bit, but overall, he played a great game, and I'm seeing a lot of good things out of Gabe Davis. Josh Allen, overall, played a great game. His 1 turnover, fine. He still was very effective, 4 total touchdowns, 81 yards running in the game. And 81 yards rushing was huge. The way that he was able to pick up some first downs with his feet, I mean, that's what the Bills need to see more of. I think that's what gets this team way more fired up as well. Seeing Khalil Shakir really executing his role in this offense very well in the last few weeks. 3 catches for 47 yards might not be the biggest number to you guys, but one of those was for 31. And I think overall, Khalil Shakir is fitting into this offense quite well. James Cook with his 6 catches for 57 yards on 7 targets out of the passing game. That's efficient as well. One of those was for a drop pass as well that could have been a touchdown. Sure, but James Cook, he's still young, second-year player, and he's trending upward. Ever since his first NFL carry, which resulted in a fumble, this guy has done nothing but go up, right? So the Bills' offense is trending upward. I think the Bills' defense showed when they can get pressure how effective they are. They were able to kind of, make that pocket collapse around Jalen Hurts, but not to the point where there were running lanes that opened up. They swallowed him up. They didn't allow him to make plays with his feet in the first half, and that's why the Bills were so effective on defense. Now, the Bills' defense, obviously, there were some calls this way, that way. It doesn't matter. I think the Bills' defense is still doing a great job without Matt Milano and without Von Miller at full health, and, of course, without Tre'Davious White and all the injuries that they've had and all the woes that they've had to go through as well. I think that I'm seeing good things out of this Buffalo Bills team overall ever since Joe Brady took over as offensive coordinator. I think that we're trending in the right direction. We have some crucial games we have to win, and I know it's an uphill battle at this point, but they're still winnable games, guys, and all we got to do is win, 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 right? So the good things overall, Bills offense is finding ways to make use of all of its playmakers. Everybody's fitting into their role. Dalton Kincaid showing that he's becoming one of the best tight ends in football, like real fast. You know what I'm saying? This dude is just, 5 catches for 38 yards. It's nothing major, but still. 5 catches on 6 targets. One of them was a drop. It's like one of the first drops I've seen from this kid. Overall, I like what I'm seeing from these guys. You know what I'm saying? It's just overall good things. The Bills defense, we're seeing Greg Rousseau is still an absolute menace. We're seeing that Jordan Phillips is just absolutely loaded up with steam. Linval Joseph was effective too, had a sack on the day as well. Greg Rousseau had 3 tackles for a loss, though. I like that. I'm seeing more out of Greg Rousseau in recent weeks, and we need him and A.J. Epinesa to step on up, and Shaq Lawson too. All those guys got to step up. And I want to see Von Miller step up as well. So we're going to go into the next segment here, ladies and gents. Hit that like and share. You join us here in the comments, or feel free to call to the hotline. But we're going to go into the good. Now you got to have the bad.
What's forget about it?
Oh, go ahead, play that video. I got it.
A little bit.
What's forget about it? If you disagree like a Lincoln is better than a Cadillac, forget about it.
I think overall the Bills defense just needed to make a couple more plays in this game. You know what I'm saying? Just a couple more plays. I understand that they forced the turnover on Jalen Hurts. They forced him into the interception, but he was able to make plays with his feet. He had 2 touchdowns with his feet. So, I mean, that's something I did not want to see. I thought if you could take away one asset of his game, it would be a big difference maker. And the way that he was able to get it going with his feet kind of helped steer them for the remainder of the third and fourth quarter and kind of, willed them to get to where they were in position to win this football game. So I think the Bills defense still needs to find ways to without Matt Milano, you got to find ways to really get that middle of the field sealed up a little bit better. And I think that that's something that we've kind of left open, especially when we bring pressure. It seems like either the check down or the middle of the field is open. I thought that we did a great job in the first half of making sure there weren't running lanes for Jalen Hurts. But again, the second half it was a little bit different. So I think the Bills defense just needed to stay a little bit more sound. And it just felt like overall there wasn't too many bad things for me to take away. Obviously, Tyler Bass has missed field goals. The drop pass from James Cook, the miscommunication at the end with Gabe Davis. But overall, there were a lot of other situations where we didn't have those types of things happen, where we could have maybe scored more, or we could have maybe not allowed to score. That could have been the difference maker as well. So even regardless of those bad things, there were just other opportunities for us as well to make plays. And we just didn't ultimately execute in the second half enough to get it done. And the Eagles were just the better team in overtime in the second half of that game. So that's really all I got to say that was bad about it. But we're going to go into the next part here. I got to talk about this, guys, because this was some news that obviously, it shocked some people. And I want to say innocent until proven guilty. I just want to say that. I don't know, obviously, a ton of the Von Miller situation. But Von Miller was it came out across news platforms that there was an arrest warrant issued for him for allegedly assaulting his pregnant girlfriend or a pregnant woman. I don't know if it's his girlfriend or not. He did turn himself in. The last that I saw about this was that the woman said that there was no assault. And it's kind of a little bit of a weird situation. So I'm going to read to you guys what I've got from WIVB. Bills linebacker Von Miller is still in hot water Friday after he turned himself in to face a felony assault warrant Thursday afternoon. He allegedly assaulted his pregnant girlfriend in their luxury apartment, and he turned himself in. He was posted on $5,000 bond. Apparently, they got into a verbal argument, and the suspect assaulted the victim, meaning Von Miller, to his girlfriend. The victim is walking back some of her statements, though, and this is according to the ABC affiliate in Dallas. She allegedly told the station the situation was blown out of context and no one assaulted anybody. And that's why you want to make sure that you are extra careful whenever you want to involve the police, because anytime it gets involved, it could just blow up in a way more than it is. And I'm not saying that that's the situation, but that's what I'm reading right here. If they have enough to suggest that something occurred, whether or not she recants, it's not going to dictate letting him off the book or letting him off the hook. So that's kind of why they had to still go through with this process. So guys, it looks like he had an incident back in Colorado in 2021, but he was not charged. So I want to say that for anybody that's brought that up as well, trying to, assume that he's guilty. But it looks like Von Miller at this moment it's kind of looming in the air. We got to see what happens with what is the alleged victim going to go ahead and say with the rest of her statement. Is she going to pursue charges? Was there any wrongdoing at all? And it's just, it's an unfortunate situation because the Bills obviously had something similar as to, being a scandal and something in the news that was bad with the punter Matt Araiza last year, known as the punt god. And they actually went ahead and released him before anything was ever found. And it was found that he had no wrongdoing and had the person that accused him apparently was lying or something like that. So it just sucks when you see these situations happen because it's a distraction and it's not something that you need, especially with a guy like Von Miller who's really needing to earn some points back with the fan base because he's just not been productive when he's been on the field. And there were times where it's like, what are you even doing? He's like lackadaisical. It's like, are you even playing? And I understand he's not 100% healthy. He's coming off of a significant ACL injury at his age. And I still think that Von Miller is a beast and he's got it in him, but we have to give him sufficient time. And we've asked a lot of him to just, hey, we need you to come in and close games. Well, that's asking a lot of a guy that just tore his ACL. He's not Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson wasn't human. So at the moment, that's all I'll really say about the actual incident. I don't know what happened. It was just alleged that he assaulted her. He turned himself in. He did post bail. So it's kind of fortunate, Gage, that this is actually happening during the bye week. And this could allow the situation to either, blow over, or we could find out is Von Miller going to be suspended or disciplined at all. I think the NFL will probably hand down some type of fine, maybe, if it's found that he's not guilty, if everything is recanted, whatever, because you can't necessarily suspend a guy just because he had gotten arrested because he had to turn himself in. I don't think, but the NFL has obviously had a lot of PR issues in the past when it comes to domestic violence disputes and stuff like that. So the NFL is probably going to handle this situation a little delicately, but at the moment we don't know anything more. I see a couple of comments from you guys as well. Took Trent more than a year after he tore his ACL, exactly. And I read Vaughn used his cell phone video also. So did he use his cell phone video to help in his defense is kind of what I want to know as well. But if you guys are just now tuning in, you're live here in the Sit Down with Sauce God and 12 Gauge right here on Facebook Live at Anthony Bomasudo and on YouTube at Buffalo Sauce God, where all my social media platforms are as well, Buffalo Sauce God, and on the Roku TV streaming app for the Northeast Streaming Sports Network. Gage, you have a comment there? Yeah, it looks like it was.
I was just going to say.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, hey, you hope that the situation plays out. You hope that nobody was hurt. You hope that nothing serious actually happened, because if anybody was assaulted, that's wrong. And I'm going to say there's no defending anybody whatsoever. But you hope that everything is okay with the victim, alleged victim, and you hope everything's okay with Von Miller's situation. And at the end of the day, there's bigger things than football and bigger things than sports. So, the safety of this situation is much more important than Von Miller being back on the football field. But at the moment, it looks like Von Miller is kind of on the innocent side with everything the victim has said and everything else that's come out with him using his cell phone and stuff like that as well. Hey, and sometimes pettiness happens in situations, especially amongst, a man and woman. It happens. I'm just going to say that. But for the Sauce God rant of the day, I'm going to go ahead and just tell you guys, my biggest thing is I just don't understand where all this slander for Josh Allen is coming from nonstop, right? Everybody wants to eat this guy alive anytime he has an interception. I understand he's had so many consecutive games with an interception, but dude, lighten up, because I've watched Josh Allen go through it, and I've watched his development since day one. I saw his first preseason start. I saw his first regular season start. I've been through it since the very beginning. I saw where he had terrible games. I've seen where he had games where he found a way to win the game for the team, but he didn't have the best stats. But guess what? Josh Allen's my quarterback no matter what, and as long as he's quarterback of this football team, and until they're actually eliminated, the Bills will always have a chance and will always be a contending team. As long as I believe that Josh Allen is quarterback for this team, they always have a chance. That's the way that I feel. So all this talk, Josh Allen's having a down season. Look at Patrick Mahomes. Look at the way that people aren't even giving Dak Prescott his credit. People want to discredit the way that he's played this year. They don't want to say anything good about him. All I'm saying is Pat Mahomes hasn't had that great of a year. Josh Allen is playing just fine. The Bills' offense has had its woes, but you can't control all the drop passes from Josh Allen. I mean, they're not on him, every single one of them. You can't control every single bit of officiating. You can't control injuries, but Josh Allen is playing just fine. And I think that Josh Allen is still an elite quarterback. And anybody that wants to say he's whatever, that's just a bunch of hatred and a bunch of nonsense. And that's me just getting absolutely tired of it. So just shut it up. I'm tired of hearing about it. Take it somewhere else. No more negativity on this page. Nothing but positive vibes only. And if you're just now tuning in your live here in the Sit Down with Sauce God and 12 Gauge and filling in for Stacks, prayers up, and we have nothing but good vibes towards Mike. And this is presented by www.buffalosauceguy.com and presented by Duff's Famous Wings, the best damn chicken wings, live here on Facebook Live, YouTube Live at Buffalo Sauce God, and as well on the ROKUTV streaming app, the Northeast Streaming Sports Network, also live on Mondays and Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and on Saturdays at 12 p.m. Standard Time as well. So, Gage, we're going to go into our little bit of a Around the NFL. We're going to talk about the Week 13 matchups that we have, and what we have as far as the action for us to watch in Bills Mafia with the Bills not playing this week. Of course, it's the Week 13 bye, a little bit tricky. One thing I also want to highlight, coming out of the bye week, Sean McDermott is undefeated as the head coach of this team. So that could be something else to also look forward to as we have our next upcoming game. But, Gage, what do we got for upcoming action here in the NFL for Week 13 this Sunday, and what also happened this Thursday night?
Well, tomorrow in the NFL, in the 1 o'clock games, we got the Chargers visiting New England. We got Detroit going down to New Orleans to face the Saints. We got Atlanta coming up to New Jersey to face the Jets. Arizona is going to Pittsburgh in another Super Bowl rematch there. Indianapolis is going to Tennessee. Miami is coming to Washington, D.C. to face the Redskins. Denver is going down to Texas to face Houston. Those are the 1 o'clock games. In the 4:25, 4 o'clock slate, we got divisional matchup. Carolina going down to Tampa to face the Bucks. And this is the big one tomorrow in the NFC. San Francisco coming to Philadelphia to face the Eagles. And also, we got the Cleveland Browns going out to LA to face the Rams. And in the 8 o'clock game on NBC, we got the Kansas City Chiefs going up to Lambeau to face the Packers. And on Monday night, we got the Cincinnati Bengals going down to Jacksonville to face the Jags.
I like it.
And that
So-
is the Week 13 upcoming games.
We've got a ton of solid action, especially with the Niners and Eagles tomorrow at 4:25. That'll make for a good game, too. I mean, we're seeing probably the number 1 and number 2 team in the NFC, aside from maybe the Cowboys, too, if you want to put them up there as well. But we'll see the Carolina Panthers after they just recently fired their head coach, Frank Reich, and what they're going to do against the Buccaneers. They're currently dogs in that game, 3.5 points. I also think, the Miami Dolphins are a 9.5-point favorite against the Commanders, but you never know, man. The Commanders can kind of come out there and they can just do some things offensively. Sam Howell is leading the league in passing yards. I mean, you never know. Miami it could be a little bit of a trap game for them as well. The Falcons and Jets, man, the Jets just can't seem to catch a break. There's a lot of rumors that Aaron Rodgers is, about near ready to possibly come back and play should they be in contention for a playoff position, which makes you wonder if he actually tore his ACL and what the whole deal with that is, because it just seems a little unlikely with everything that I've seen as far as evidence. The Chargers and Patriots, Chargers going to have a tough one there in New England, obviously, with the way that they're playing as of recently. New England's kind of fighting for Bill Belichick's job, it feels like. Detroit is a 4.5-point favorite in New Orleans. I think that's an interesting matchup as well. And Cleveland Browns will have Joe Flacco starting against the LA Rams in LA, actually. So that'll be interesting to see Joe Flacco coming out of retirement to man the quarterback position for a team that's got a great defense and are still finding ways to win games. And Cleveland is in contention for a playoff spot. Kansas City's going to have a little bit of a tricky one, I think, up there in Green Bay for the Sunday night game. 6-point favorites at the moment, but we'll see. We're also going to have some free picks ahead here in the I'll Take That Action segment, guys, so don't go anywhere. We still have all of our segments, Victory Formation, the Pain Trains. We also have the Quarterback Sneak. We have Weakest Link, Unsung Hero, and we have the I'll Take That Action, Getting Saucy, and all that and much more. So don't go anywhere, guys. You're live here in the sit-down. Hit that like and share. Join us here in the comments, and feel free to call into the hotline at 716-800-1772. Let's go ahead. Let's play that video for the Victory Formation, for the offensive keys for the Bills. All right, so for the Bills offensively, coming out of the bye week, I think the biggest thing that they need to tune up is the drop passes. And a big one that we saw, James Cook. James Cook had a drop pass that could have resulted in a touchdown. Stephon Diggs has had some drops as of recently. And I think that those drops, man, especially if it's a third down situation and you could be converting it for a first down, that makes the world of a difference. That shows you exactly what your momentum is going to be like offensively for the rest of the game. And if the Bills could find ways to continue to win the battle of field position and, flip that in favor of their defense to maybe give their defense a little bit of a break at times and not put so much pressure on them, then that's huge right there. I think if we can establish more of this running attack with Josh Allen and James Cook, Latavius Murray, even Ty Johnson, and, hey, Leonard Fournette coming out of the bye week as well, that's a possibility too. If we could find ways to establish more of that run game, I think it will help make us more of an effective team and will control momentum, kind of like how we did in the beginning of the season under Ken Dorsey. But I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Joe Brady. I'm liking the way that he's getting Josh Allen going, the way that he's outside of the pocket making plays. I think overall, if we could tune up the drops, the offensive line penalties, we can maybe find a way to just really do this thing offensively. Now, obviously, offensively is one thing. Defensively is going to be a different thing, but really it's the offense that needs the most focus, and that's why we got rid of Joe Brady. We let go of Leslie Frazier before the season, and Sean McDermott took over that role, and our defense seems to be playing lights out at times, even with the guys that we have injured, right? So offensively, I just need the Bills to keep moving the football and don't shoot yourselves in the foot. Try to minimize the amount of times that you shoot yourselves in the foot and don't beat yourself the rest of the way going forward, because at the end of the day, the only team that can beat the Buffalo Bills, in my opinion, is themselves. So that's the Bills' offensive keys here in victory formation. And with the offensive keys, we have to go to the defensive keys here. Let's talk about the pain trains, defensive keys for the Bills. Yes. So the pain trains is the defensive keys for the Buffalo Bills after the bye week this week. And I think overall, closing up the middle of the field is the biggest thing. And that's something that we're kind of seeing with the absence of Matt Milano. That's what makes that available for some teams, right? But overall, I saw a good performance from the Bills defense, the way that they got pressure and the way that they didn't let the pocket open up for Jalen Hurts to escape, right? Because you're going to have to play against Patrick Mahomes, who is very mobile. You have to play against Dak Prescott, who is also very mobile. And then you're going to have to play Tua, who can also get outside of the pocket and make plays with his feet and the speed that Miami has, especially their running back Achan expected to play tomorrow. You have to be ready in that middle of the field area. That's the way that you shut this down. Our Bills defensive backs right now are playing really good without Tre'Davious White. I like Rasul Douglas and what he's contributed. I like what Taron Johnson does for this defense. I like what I'm seeing out of Benford. I like what I'm seeing out of our safeties too. So if we could find a way to maybe up the pass rush, we'll make the job easier for those guys. And we'll make those guys look even better. And if the Bills could get more sacks, more pressure, create more havoc, make less time for the quarterback to make decisions, then you're going to be able to defeat these next few opponents. Because if you can make Dak Prescott uncomfortable, you can make Patrick Mahomes uncomfortable and Tua uncomfortable, then you have yourself a winning formula defensively. So more pressure, play sound, and close up the middle of that field. And understand that who is the alpha male on the field? The Buffalo Bills defense, as always. So that's going to complete the defensive keys to the game. Or actually for the Bills coming out of the bye week. We're going to go to the next segment, which would normally be Mike Shimbursky, but I'm going to fill in for him this week with the quarterback sneak segment right here in the sit down. Let's play that video. And now for the QB sneak with your co-host, Mike Shimbursky. A little shout out to Mike Shimbursky, who had a personal incident happening today, and he is actually currently going through a little bit of a recovery with that situation. So we want to say a real quick shout out to Mike Shimbursky, a.k.a. Stacks. Nothing but good vibes for Shimmy Stacks. So evaluating Josh Allen's quarterback play as of late. Right now, I think he's third in the league in passing yards at 3,200. He's got 24 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Now, I understand that 13 interceptions is a big alarm to some because it's been consecutive weeks. But he also still has a 72.3 quarterback rating, which is good enough for third best in football. And with, how many turnovers he's had, that still says a lot to me, right? Because what else has Josh done for this team? Well, okay, let me see. I'm going to pull up all the stats right here for you guys. Because I think that Josh Allen, this year, he's got 342 yards rushing, a little bit down, but he's got 9 touchdowns. So Josh Allen has a total of, let's see again, I want to make sure that I got this right. He has got 33 total touchdowns right now, ladies and gentlemen, with 5 games still to play. Josh Allen is really on pace for what looks like a 50 total touchdown season. I mean, really, that's great. And sure, he's got his turnovers, but that's what we understand about Josh. That's what makes him so great, is he's a gamer. He's a gunslinger. He's willing to do whatever it takes. So I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Josh Allen, the way that he's gotten outside of the pocket, made plays with his feet. He's been able to get things going via play action. That's great. I'd like for him to have a no-turnover game next game. And I'm just saying that could do great things for his confidence, and it could do great things for the rest of the fucking media so they can shut the hell up about it. But overall, I think that Josh Allen's quarterback play as of late has been much better when we're finding ways to dish it to his other teammates, not just name Stephon Diggs. So if the receivers can find a way to tidy up their drops, and overall that's going to make Josh Allen look like a much better quarterback. And if he can find a way to minimize his turnovers for the next 5 games, Josh Allen might have himself a possible MVP season, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have to find out. But that's going to complete the quarterback sneak segment. But if you're just now tuning in, Don't go anywhere. You're live here in the sit down with Sauce God and 12 Gauge filling in for Shimmy Stacks right here on Facebook Live at Anthony Bombasuno and on YouTube at Buffalo Sauce God, and also on the Roku TV streaming app of the Northeast Streaming Sports Network right on your TV. If you have the Roku at home, you can watch me on your TV right now. And if you're watching on the Roku app, feel free to join us here in the comments section on Facebook or YouTube, or call to that hotline at 716-800-1772. We're talking Buffalo Bills, and we're going to go into the next segment here of the weakest link. What area of the Bills game still needs to be addressed? Let's go ahead. Let's play that video. I think the offensive line's got to clean up their penalties. I just overall think that the offensive line can really dictate how this game will go for us, either running the football or how we're going to pass the football, and the way that Josh Allen is going to play. It seems like when he's got time and the way that they create the pocket for him, really, it's going to establish exactly how Josh Allen's game is going to be. And I think the offensive line is, yeah, at times we've had penalties that shouldn't have been called, but there's times that we are called for penalties that are right. So let's find a way to tune that up. I think overall, though, the biggest killer, again, guys, is the drop passes. It just seems to be in critical situations like third downs, fourth downs, and they could be for first down conversions, right? We're seeing that tidied up a little bit ever since Dawson Knox went on the injury list. And, of course, speedy recovery to Dawson Knox and nothing but prayers and vibes for Dawson. But, Dalton Kincaid has filled in well for this offense, and I think that we're seeing that that's critical. So if we can just tune up those drop passes a little bit, man, I feel like we're going to have a much more different outcome for the rest of the season. And that's going to be critical against guys like Kansas City and Dallas and Miami. We're going to need to have those plays. We cannot give those plays up. We have to make sure we execute. So that's going to complete the Weakest Link segment. But if you guys are just now tuning in, this is the Sit Down presented by Dust Famous Wings and www.buffalosauceguy.com on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and on the Roku TV app for the Northeast Streaming Sports Network, Mondays and Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and on Saturdays at noon. Hosted by myself, the Sauce God, at Buffalo Sauce God, across all social media platforms. Produced by my guy over here, 12 Gauge, and manned on the boards with my wonderful girlfriend, also giving a wonderful voiceover for the introduction to this show. And also want to shout out to Mark Lee, local recording artist out of Buffalo, for the Sauce introduction song, the official song of the Sit Down. So let's go ahead into our next segment here of the unsung hero, the under-radar performer of the offense and defense for the rest of the season. I think the rest of the way, we're going to see guys like Terrell Bernard making some plays that are just going to be critical coming down the stretch. I think it's possible we could even see a couple of Jordan Phillips plays that are really critical for the defense down the stretch to make him the unsung hero. But I really believe the unsung hero the rest of the way defensively for the Buffalo Bills is going to be Dorian Williams. I think Dorian Williams is going to find a chance to make himself established on this defense and earn himself more of a chance to be a starter next year and be a more commanding role on this defense. So I got Dorian Williams as my pick for the unsung hero on the defense the rest of the way. Offensively, I'm still going to stick with my guy, Khalil Shakir, who has been my pick all season long, and he has been the unsung hero for this Buffalo Bills offense. But also I'm going to say another one, too. I think Leonard Fournette. We're going to see him find a way onto this Bills active roster and find ways to make plays. And, hey, what's all this talk about playoff Lenny? Well, we're going to have to see it, right? So maybe Leonard Fournette might be the unsung hero for the Bills offense going forward. But, Gage, did you have a couple of picks you want to throw in here? You want to pick unsung hero for defense and offense?
Oh, sure. I think ever since we added him, the unsung hero, we haven't heard his name much. But Rasul Douglas has been my pick ever since he got to Buffalo. He's been getting those picks, getting those passes defended, getting all over receivers. That's my defensive unsung hero ever since he got to Buffalo. My offensive unsung hero? Gonna be a popular pick with this guy, Dalton Kincaid on the offensive side. I like it. Really enjoyed watching him play.
I like that. Good picks, Gage. Excellent picks. Real quick, shout out to Kirby, who says Duval. He's a big-time Jags fan. He's also an appearance had appearances on the sit down in the past. Shout out to Kirby real fast. But Gage, great picks, man. And let's go into our next and almost final segment. We have 2 segments left here. We have I'll Take That Action and Getting Saucy, so don't go anywhere. Hit that like and share if you haven't already done so. Join us here in the comments. You're live here in the Sit Down with Sauce God and 12 Gauge. Let's go into the next segment here of I'll Take That Action, Week 13 Picks and Props.
Yeah, hey guys, life is too short to bet the under. I don't care if it's 59, I don't care if it's 67, you gotta ride the fucking over.
This is fucking ridiculous. We need a fucking touchdown. The stakes are high for these ones, boys.
Over-unders, give me points.
Man.
Of course, I'll take that action. And real fast, before we give any free picks here in the sit-down, I want to say we do not encourage or endorse any illegal or underage gambling. Bet and play at your own risk where it is legal to do so. And if you have a problem with gambling or any sort of issue with gambling whatsoever, there is help available. There is a hotline available for you guys. But real fast, guys, we're going to give some free picks here. Myself at 12 Gauge. 12 Gauge has been absolutely on fire in a lot of sports. But I think that we're going to go ahead and give you guys some free picks for tomorrow's action. With no Buffalo Bills action, you got to keep yourselves busy. So I'll take that action. Gauge, real fast, I'm going to start it off here. In the New England and Los Angeles Chargers game in New England, I like the over 39.5. I also like for the Detroit and New Orleans game, I like over 47 points in that game as well. And let me see, what else do I want to find here? How about Carolina and Tampa Bay? The over or under 36.5. Well, life is too short to bet the under, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys, take the over in that game. That's an opportunity for the Panthers to maybe play without their head coach, maybe a little bit more freely, and maybe some more points over there. So I'm saying over 36.5 points in that game. And for the San Fran and Philadelphia game, guys, I'm going to give you my take on that. I think that San Fran is going to cover a 3-point spread, and I think that they're going to also go over in that game, 47.5. And I'm going to give you guys a player prop from there as well. I think for rushing yards, DeAndre Swift is going to have over 52.5 yards, and I also think that Jalen Hurts is going to have under 41.5 yards rushing. So those are my picks for I'll Take That Action. But Gage, what do you got for the people and I'll Take That Action?
Well, I'll take that action. In the Denver Broncos-Houston Texans game, I like Denver to cover that 3-point spread. They have been playing good ball recently. Their defense is pretty good, too. Indy and Tennessee. I like Indy to win that game. Over 42.5 points for that game.
I like that.
Well, Arizona and Pittsburgh. I like the over 41 in that game as well.
I like it. Good stuff, Gage.
I'll take that action.
I'll Take That Action, of course, is right here in the sit-down, which you guys can catch Mondays and Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and on Saturdays at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my Facebook Live at Anthony Bomasudo, on YouTube Live at Buffalo Sauce God, where you can find all my social medias at Buffalo Sauce God, and also on the Roku TV app, the Northeast Streaming Sports Network, presented by www.buffalosaucegod.com, your source for daily entertainment and also merchandise of Sauce God and Bill's Mafia-related stuff, and also presented by Duff's Famous Wings, the best damn chicken wings that there are. So we're going to go into our final segment here, ladies and gentlemen, of Gettin Saucy, presented by Duff's Famous Wings, right here in the sit-down. Let's get saucy.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Ice cold, nice refreshing Labatt Blue on a fierce store behind JA-17.
It's a cold front, is what that is.
I'm fired up this week, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to get you fired up. Bills Mafia, you want to hear me getting saucy this week? It's simple. Mac Jones and the New England Patriots, and also, too, the Miami Dolphins, and anybody that's got anything bad to say. Bills by a billion, baby. Let's go. Let's go, Bills.
Getting Saucy, presented by Duff's Famous Wings and presented by www.buffalosaucegod.com. It's simple, guys. Everybody that's counting out the Buffalo Bills, it's nonsense, man. The Buffalo Bills are 6-6, coming off of a really tough loss against the Eagles. But I'll tell you what, They got saucy on that field. They found a way to stir it up over there in Philadelphia, and they showed exactly what this Bills team is made of, right? This Bills team has still got 5 games to go. They got 5 games that are winnable. They got 5 games to go, and I'm telling you what, they can go 11-6 and run the freaking table. And if they get in the playoffs, expect them to maybe get on the pool table and run that show too. Because I'll tell you what, Josh Allen is still the best quarterback in football. This has still got some of the most elite playmakers in football, led by Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs, James Cook, Khalil Shakir, Dalton Kincaid, and anybody else that wants to smoke. Because I'll tell you what, the Bills are going to get saucy coming out of the bye week. We're going to get healthy. We're going to get fired up. We're going to get amped up. And no matter what, Bills by a billion. Go Bills. Bills all day. God bless. Go Bills. That's me getting saucy this week right here in the Sit Down, presented by Dove's Famous Wings. And, of course, guys, that's always here on the Sit Down, Mondays and Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on Facebook Live at Anthony Bomasudo and on YouTube Live at Buffalo Sauce God and on the ROKUTV app of the Northeast Streaming Sports Network. And also Saturdays at noon p.m. Eastern Standard Time with myself and produced by 12 Gauge over here and co-hosting at times. And also co-hosted by Mike Shabursky, a.k.a. Shimmy Stacks. Nothing but prayers and vibes up from Mike. And I want to thank everybody for your likes and shares, your comments, and everybody for tuning in. Make sure to turn on your notifications for me, like, share, and make sure to follow, subscribe, and turn those notifications on so you don't miss any of the daily content or any of the Bills content or anything from me, your source for daily entertainment, sports entertainment. The Sauce Guy right here in the Sit Down, and that's me. And I'll see you guys next Monday here in the Sit Down, presented by Dove's Famous Wings at www.buffalosauceguy.com. We'll see you then.